I have to be brutally honest here, guys. I don't know if I have ever seen the fan base or as large a portion of the fan base turn on a player as quickly, or maybe not quickly, as suddenly as Chiefs fans have largely turned on Isiah Pacheco. And I'm not saying this to sort of castigate the Chiefs fan base. I think that it's an understandable turn. I think that the Chiefs struggled with the running game for a few seasons before Isiah Pacheco was drafted. And they never really found the right replacement for Kareem Hunt. And Isiah Pacheco came in, had a lot of pizzazz, had a lot of flair, had a lot of promise, and had some measurables that made you think that if they were going to find a power back, it might be in the form of Isiah Pacheco. But it never really materialized. And for the first two seasons of his career, for the first season, his rookie season, he was sort of a darling, a guy that everyone knew was eventually going to be the replacement. His second season, he was kind of a steady hand at the running back position, but nothing spectacular. And we all, I think, sort of thought, yeah, but it's his second year. He's coming out of Rutgers. He wasn't really all that effective in college. Maybe it was coaching. Maybe it was the offensive scheme. We don't really know, but he could really put it together at the NFL level. But his second season in the NFL ended still short of 1,000 yards and confoundingly ineffective in short yardage situations. A guy that we thought was really going to be sort of a bulldozer in short yardage situations with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Maybe at that point we had hope, still providing some bit of a receiving threat out of the backfield. And then his third season started, and it was the same kind of thing. He never developed vision. He would run directly into the backs of his blockers. He would not wait for things to develop. He would just seemingly, I don't know. I really don't know what it was out there for Isiah Pacheco. I think vision was the biggest thing. But heading into this, his fourth season, the final season of his rookie contract, there are some answers that could be had. Because we can still look at the career that he's had and say it's understandable. As a rookie, he was a rookie. He was not the focus of the offense. He was not even the focus of the position group. Had a pretty good rookie season. In his second season, still finished short of 1,000 yards, but he got close. In his third season, he was preempted by injury. Now we can make all of the observations that we want, that everything that we saw from his second season carried over into his third season, but the argument is there to be made. But Isiah Pacheco says things are different this season. In an article titled Chiefs Isiah Pacheco Making Big Offseason Change to Erase 2024 Disappointment from Arrowhead Addict by Mike Luciano, we get the following. Pacheco ran for just 310 yards in a season marred by injuries, and he didn't look like his old self when he was back on the field. The Chiefs could have easily decided to replace the former 7th-round pick, but they decided to run it back with someone who played a big part in helping Kansas City win a championship in the past. Pacheco believes that his big problem is that he lost too much weight and was unable to pull off the same aggressive running style he perfected in past seasons. Pacheco is bulking back up this offseason, and he believes that he has all the ingredients he needs to get back on the right track. Just going back to 216, 437, Isiah Pacheco style, the former 900-yard rusher said. If he gets back to what he was, he could give fans some security that he will be able to supplement what Patrick Mahomes and the passing game are putting together. Chiefs running back Isiah Pacheco back up to 216 pounds after a tough 2024 season. That is a subheading in the article. If one averages out his first two seasons to a 17-game pace, his first two, Pacheco would average 1,173 yards from scrimmage and 8 touchdowns. Keep in mind that those numbers came while often sharing carries in Kansas City. That in a Kansas City offense that wants to throw the ball as much as possible. That's true. That is a sensible caveat from Luciano there to say that, yeah, well, maybe he never hit 1,000 yards, but the Chiefs aren't a rushing team. I think a little bit of that can be pushed back on when you remember just how run-oriented the Chiefs were prior to the emergence of Patrick Mahomes. It's not something that Andy Reid is opposed to doing, and there have certainly been times where it would have been very profitable for the passing game if Isiah Pacheco were a threat to break something off at any given moment, the way that Kareem Hunt was. So let's look at what Isiah Pacheco is talking about when he says Isiah Pacheco style. Here is his RAS score, an 8.85. Now, that is deceptively good. Why? Well, he had an elite 40-yard dash, scoring a 9.87 by running a 4.37 40-yard dash, an elite number. He also had a 9.77 score on the bench press, putting up 27 reps at 5'10", 216. 27 reps is a great number. However, those are speed and strength drills, not explosion drills, not agility drills. The explosion drills leave Isiah Pacheco looking somewhat lacking. A 33-inch vertical was a 4.25 score. 33-inch vertical leap is not a good number at all, and a 9-foot 10-inch broad jump, a decent number there. As far as the shuttle drills go, his 20-yard short shuttle was a 4.27. That is a score of 6.37, and his 3-cone drill was a 7.09, which is a score of 5.91. Neither of those numbers are embarrassing, but neither are they anything to write home about. And for a running back, these are very important numbers. So too are the explosion numbers, especially when you are counting yourself as a power back. Now, I want to look a little bit at the career that Isiah Pacheco has had, and we will delve into some of these numbers because I think there are some things that start to emerge. As a rookie, he played in all the games, started 11 of the games. Remember, he took over that backfield, being incredibly more productive than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He had 170 attempts for 830 yards and 5 touchdowns, giving him an average of 4.9 yards. We all commented at the time that, look, that's a good season. A 4.9 yard average is a good number. In fact, that's borderline a great number. However, in 2023, that average fell to 4.6. That's more in line with sort of a good number. 205 attempts for 935 yards and 7 touchdowns. However, in a more limited sample size, that is true. We saw that number fall to 3.7 in the first 7 games of the 2024 season. Or was it the first 6 games and he came back for the final game of the season? I can't remember exactly what it was, but I can't remember when he got injured. But falling off an entire yard per carry from the 2023 season and more than a yard per carry from his rookie year. So those numbers alone, it might be kind of difficult to make too terribly much of. But we do have advanced statistics for his seasons as well. This is where it gets kind of condemning for Isiah Pacheco. Isiah Pacheco fashioning himself as a violent tackle-breaking running back. In his rookie season, of those 830 yards, 537 of them came before contact. So of that 4.9 yard average, he averaged 3.2 before anyone touched him. Now, I would like to clear up a little bit. Sometimes this number is construed as you had a great offensive line, and sometimes that's true. But a player can go untouched several yards into the defense based on his own merits. You would see that now, obviously, Priest Holmes had an elite offensive line. Priest Holmes was also really good at not being touched until he was past the linebackers. So you can see both things at play. You can see neither thing at play, and you can see these things staggered as far as who is getting the job done when you have a good yards before contact number. But this meant that after contact, Isiah Pacheco was averaging 1.7 yards per carry. After someone touched him, he had 4 broken tackles as a rookie, meaning that he broke a tackle once every 42.5 touches. That's not a great number, but again, he was a rookie. He was learning the ropes. However, in his second season, that yards before contact ballooned to 550. He had more yards before contact in 2023 than he did in 2022, meaning that he had more free space and his yards before contact per attempt did dip, meaning that though he had more yards before contact, there was less opportunity per touch. You see there, he had 35 more carries, but only 17 more yards before contact. His yards per attempt his yards after contact, per attempt, went up slightly to 1.9 yards, and he ended up in that second season breaking 15 tackles, which was a broken tackle every 13.7 attempts. Every 13.7 attempts. Keep that in mind. In 2024, however, we saw regression in the advanced statistics from Isiah Pacheco. His yards before contact fell to their lowest at 2.2 yards before contact per attempt. His yards after contact, too, fell to its lowest at 1.5 yards after contact per attempt. We also saw Isiah Pacheco, through the course of 83 attempts, break 0 tackles. I repeat, through 83 carries, he broke 0 tackles. That is a huge step down from 2023, where he broke a tackle every 13.7 attempts. But it's also, so say on his 84th attempt, he would have broken a tackle. That's basically double what it was his rookie season when he broke a tackle every 42.5 attempts. I don't know what it is that Isiah Pacheco needs to work on. In my opinion, it's vision. He seems to think that it's his weight and his speed. Maybe he's correct. Maybe he will return to the field in 2025 looking the way that he did in 2023, which wasn't elite, he wasn't a bell cow running back, but it was serviceable. It was good enough, and the Chiefs won a lot of games. The Chiefs came home with a ring. Could it be the addition of Brashard Smith that allows Isiah Pacheco to step back into the nasty, mash your face off running back that he seems to want to be? It might be, because he will not have to worry about all of the, hey, we're going to sneak you out of the backfield stuff. So we will see what 2025 holds, but I think there's a reason that Isiah Pacheco has not been extended. I think there's a reason that though the Chiefs did not spend a first, second, third round pick on a running back, they did draft one. And I think there's a reason that they did bring someone in, Elijah Mitchell, in free agency as well. So we will see what happens with Isiah Pacheco. I'm a fan of Isiah Pacheco, but it is unfortunate to see the way that the last couple of the last season for sure, I would say season and a half, ended up working out for Isiah Pacheco. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.